What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to the RC Plane Addict. I'm Pilot Manny and I would just want to thank you for joining and checking out my content. It really means a lot to the community and I'm trying to build a healthy channel for those of you that are addicted to flying just like myself and have a strong passion for getting up in the air and feeling that rush of just flying around with these awesome planes that are out there and available. So today is a really special day because as I've been trying to promote my channel, I've also been asking you as the viewers to go ahead and start leaving me comments, leaving me suggestions for content ideas, anything you want to see that I can possibly get out there and make for you. And this is going to be one of those videos. This is a subscriber suggested video. So I'm super excited to do it today and I really hope it meets your expectations. Please leave comments below. If you love this video, hit a like, please subscribe and join the community, which we all have a strong passion for, which is flying those beautiful, beautiful planes. All right, let's check out today's video. All right, so what you are looking at are the small and very simple things that I bring with me every time I go flying, aside from the airplane. So really quickly, what you're looking at here is you're looking at my transmitter with its case. Now this case I got from Amazon. It's really simple, inexpensive. I'll leave a link in the description below for you to get it. And it holds my very expensive and trustworthy transmitter. So this little ridge here, this is the back, and you're going to want to kind of open it this way so it's laying backwards. Open this full zippers up and there you go. You can see how it fits nice and snugly in there. Okay, I have my leash or my strap attached to it. The antenna's down, but you can leave the antenna up. There's plenty of room up here for like maybe a DX where you have those standard antennas that kind of come up and bend down or over. And like I said before, this is such an easy solution to protecting something that's worth $4, $5, maybe $1,000. Just go out, buy a $30 case, put it in there when you're done or when you're walking around, because those switches, they pop off so easy. I can't tell you how many times I've heard of friends, even myself, sending back my transmitters to Spectrum because there was a switch or something popped off of it, simply because it was in the car rattling around with the rest of my gear and just got knocked a little too hard. And that was the end of that. So go out, get yourself a bag for your transmitter. You won't be disappointed. On to the next item that I always bring to my field. So this is my field bag, and my field bag has all of the essential things that I'm going to need for that day. So I'm gonna go ahead and just start opening everything up and taking everything out and just showing you what I bring to the field every time I go flying. Now, sometimes when I go to the field, I'll take one plane and I'll take as much as 4 planes. So what you want to do is you want to always keep your field bag clean, and you definitely want to make sure that you have the necessary items for those planes before you leave the house. So this is the front. This is nothing more than a simple work bag that I got from Lowe's, or you can get one at Home Depot. They're fairly inexpensive. There's a strap here that's nice and easy with a shoulder strap to kind of help you carry it. It's very rugged. It's very durable, and it's meant for like construction sites. But again, it's a very easy solution that's inexpensive that'll house basically everything that you need for that day's flights. So here in the front pocket, I have packing tape, and packing tape comes very useful for holding things down, strapping things down. If you need to kind of wrap things, you can use packing tape. And some of the planes, if you're scratch building, use packing tape as well. So this is a great item to have with you at the field. The other thing I always grab with me when I go to the field is my AMA card. Okay, so this is also very important. Join the AMA when you start getting into this hobby, because there's a lot of benefits to it. And also, if you decide you want to join a flight club like I am, you're going to need that. So that's in one pocket, and I always keep that there. In my other pocket, I keep some other things, such as my Cellmaster. So this is a very simple item, inexpensive, from Hobby King, and it helps me check my batteries so I can see what the voltage is, how much percentage that I have left on each battery, and it also helps me gauge how my battery health is. So before I'll even fly, I'll plug in a battery, make sure that it's healthy, all the cells are within limits of each other, and that there is close to 99% battery life, so that the timer, which is set on my transmitter, matches up with a full battery. In addition, I have my USB cable for my NX8, and this is very, very helpful because if I'm out in the field and I need a charge, I can plug in my USB to my car, or if your field has solar power, a lot of them will have these USB plug-in adapters, so you can just quickly charge up at the field. So I always keep this with me as well. Moving on to these inside pockets, I did put in an extra strap or an extra chain. So if you've seen my previous videos, I did a maiden on my Spitfire Master Series, and I didn't have one, and I was really kicking myself in the foot because I usually keep a spare in my bag. So always keep a spare leash. If you have one, they're all over the place, really easy to get, and just throw it in your bag just in case you need it for whatever reason. If we flip around to this side, I have a super long male-to-male cable. It looks like a headphone jack, but what it is, it's actually for using the transmitter with another transmitter if the other transmitter isn't Bluetooth enabled, so that you can do buddy boxing. And this is what I use when I go flying with my daughter. It's very helpful, and it's not much to put in the bag and carry along with me. These pockets are empty in case I need it. All right, let's go on to the inside of this bag. Now, the inside of the bag doesn't really have much to it. So I'm going to kind of tip it this way and take out the contents first. First, you need your Lipo bag. So the batteries I take to the field are Lipos, and this is a flame retardant bag. So in case any of them decide to go crazy inside the bag, hopefully this will keep the fire at bay. It doesn't hold many batteries, but it does hold smaller batteries and a few, I guess, 6-cell batteries. I also have another bag, which is larger, looks more like a lunchbox for the larger batteries, but you're definitely going to want a bag for your Lipos. So the charged ones go in here, the discharged ones go in here. This is where you keep your batteries safe. This is what you're going to want to have. Again, another very inexpensive product that you definitely need to have in your bag. Next, I have what looks like a tackle box, and this tackle box is full of all sorts of goodies. Now, this tackle box for me is a multi-role kind of setup, and I say that because you know that I do a lot of scratch building, so a lot of spare parts or things that I use for my scratch build are also in this box. And again, this is another very simple item to buy. You can get this at Lowe's, you can get this at the Dollar Tree, you can get this at almost anywhere. Walmart, Target, they sell them all over the place. Super easy to get. And inside of this box, I'm going to show you really quickly all of the goodies that I have. So really quick, if you look here, I'll have an assortment of nuts, bolts, washers, screws, and anything that basically are like extras that I've used in my building process that I didn't want to get rid of. And this is good for a variety of reasons, because a lot of parts on your planes have nuts, bolts, screws, and washers. So if you notice maybe your motor mount is coming loose, you have what you need. Or maybe if you have a screw that kind of popped out on a wing, you have what you need. Same with the servos. Some of them are screwed in. Again, this is what I'm going to need. In addition to that, speaking of servos, I have extra servo horns. I have clevises for my control rods. And all of these are spare parts for my planes, which all need these parts. Some of them are open, some of them are unopened, and I have it all in here just in case I need it. In addition, a lot of my planes use propellers, and these are basically the fittings that go into the propellers so that they fit over the shaft without a problem, okay? It kind of fills the gap. So every time you buy propellers, you get a ton of these, and I don't obviously use them all, but I'd like to hold on to them just in case I need them for whatever reason. Maybe I don't have a propeller and a friend at the field has an extra for me, but it doesn't fit my shaft. I can use these propeller spacers, and now it fits perfectly. In addition, I've learned to evolve in my system from making my own adapters to actually buying adapters. Amazon has a wide variety of adapters. So for example, this is going to be a Dean's or a T connector to an EC5, or excuse me, an EC3. So that was easy to do. In the past, I've made my own by soldering, and these come in like the bunches. So I have a ton of extras, which is also in my box. So if I'm at home and I'm building and I need an adapter, then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go to this box and I'm gonna grab what I need, solder on a short wire, and make my own adapter. For example, this is going to be an XT60 to a Dean's. Simple to do, really easy to make. And if I'm at the field and I need an extra battery and my friend has a battery, but I don't have the right connection on my ESC, I can use my adapters. And also, a lot of my batteries don't have the right connectors, and I'm so done with clipping those wires. I'd rather just use an adapter. It's such an easy solution. Moving onwards, I have an old school Lipo checker. So this is nothing more than just a battery tester. It'll go through the voltage on me, and it also is an alarm. Now, back in the day, we used to use these a lot, but now that the cell checkers have become, I guess, more modernized, I have that in my bag, which I already showed you, but I still hold on to this just in case for some reason I didn't put in my bag. I lent it to a friend. Now I don't have it anymore. I always have my extra. In addition, because I do a lot of scratch building, there are a lot of popsicle sticks, and there are these like fuel tubing stoppers that also go over your clevises, and I have a bunch of those extras as well, along with really long screws and bolts. And I even have, and this was actually coming in really handy when I was cleaning out my bag, a strong magnet, which looks like it was part of a battery hatch. So I hold that in there because it's excellent at, if any of these things get disorganized, I can use this to grab the very small nuts and bolts, which are metal, and hold it with this. Also, if any of these things fall into my plane and it's hard to reach, I can kind of fish it out with a magnet. So magnets are super, super handy. I've learned that the hard way, but you know what? Now that I have it, it's such a great resource. If we look in this compartment here, you're going to have a lot of wires. So here are going to be the wires that I use for my servos. I have a Y connector, which are great for your servos that run for your ailerons, or if you have maybe any other servos that are tied together, there's your Y connector. I also have an extension, which is right here. And it's a short extension, but it's good to have one as well, another Y connector. And I have this guy here, which is going to be a charging unit so that I can charge the lights that I bought as a third-party accessory for my planes. So I keep that on me as well. And it's awesome because it is a micro USB, which fits the charger for my transmitter. So you can see how like a lot of these things that I have are like multi-purpose. They're not just like, okay, well, I have a charger for my controller and that's all I can use it for. No, it's not all I can use it for. I could use it for charging another person's phone. I could use it for charging the lights on my planes. So that's always good to have. Here is going to be sort of like my, I guess, glues and tapes. I use foam tack. Most of my planes are foam, and this is an excellent glue. It cures quickly. It's easy to get off your fingers. It's relatively inexpensive, and it comes in like a package of like 8 of these little tubes. So I usually just keep one in my pack along with some wing tape. So this is like, I said wing tape, but it's actually called Blenderm, and it's made by 3M, and they use this for sealing up, I guess, like the joints between your flight surfaces. So for example, if you notice that your ailerons or your elevator or your rudder is starting to come loose from the hinge, you can use this tape as a quick solution at the field to hold it together. It's very flexible. It is not like packing tape, and it's stretchy, and it sticks amazingly well to anything you put on it. And I've used it more than once, and this is definitely a must-have in your box. In addition, I also have a precision tool, okay, and this has a bunch of precision little attachments in the back that I use, and I have a multi-purpose tool, which is like a pocket thing here. So it's really easy. I bought it basically for its scissoring action, but it also has a small screwdriver, a small knife in it, and again, and a small screwdriver bottle opener. So again, it's just a quick little multi-purpose tool, so you don't have to carry like a lot of tools around, and this actually does the trick for a lot of purposes at the field. Moving along, we have bullet connectors, which I use for my adapters that I make. I also have the adapters for propellers for the props. So basically, you'll slide this on to a prop shaft, and it'll help to adapt almost any propeller to that shaft. Here I have extra motor mounts that have always come with my motors. So obviously you can see I bought a bunch of motors in the past, and sometimes I don't use them all, but I do hold on to these just in case something breaks, snaps, or I need an extra. And lastly, in my toolbox, I have my bind plugs, and there's about 3 in here. There's always good to have extras, and I just hold on to them for a good reason. And that is going to be my multi-roll toolkit. Moving on to what's more in the bag. There are some other pockets in here, and I fill these pockets with obviously items that I use. So on the bottom is going to be a spare propeller. So this propeller is obviously going to match the plane that I take to the field. I have a good I don't know, a dozen or so planes, and I'm not going to put all the propellers for every single plane in this bag. That would be just crazy talk. So if I'm planning to, say, take out the Spitfire, which I just took out, I'm also going to take a spare prop for it because, yes, prop strikes when you are landing on the ground with a belly lander in the cold tend to happen more often than not. And when it's cold out, these props get really brittle and they tend to break, and it really sucks. There's nothing more that sucks than being at the field with everything ready to fly and no spare propeller. So these are inexpensive. Grab a bunch when you buy a plane, throw it in a box, make sure you label it and you know which propeller or which plane they belong to. And when you're ready to go to the field, this is going to be in your field bag. So you always have an extra propeller for that plane. Moving along, I have some more precision screwdrivers. These screwdrivers I kind of just pick up along the way. It's good to have a few spares. And these have actually a lot more attachments than the one that's in my box because they have the star attachments, which is really good for like the hex screws that now I see a lot of planes are coming with. So I have a couple of them just in case I need extras. And again, they're very inexpensive, so you can go ahead and pick them up and just throw them in your bag for when you need them. When you scratch build, you're going to use rubber bands. And even a lot of the planes that you buy will have like removable wings that are held on by rubber bands. So if you have some application or need for a rubber band in your hangar, then go out and just get yourself a small bag. This is from Staples. These are number 33 rubber bands. And I usually replace this bag like once every 2 years, especially after it's open. It's very inexpensive. You want high quality rubber bands and you want them to be in fairly good shape. No one likes an old rubber band that snaps almost immediately when you start to stretch it. So every time I take these out, I always check the elasticity on them and inspect them to make sure that there's nothing wrong with them. And if they're good, then I'll go ahead and put them on my planes. Old rubber bands that are used, I never put back in the bag. Those get thrown right out. As I've started getting into the larger planes, I've noticed that the propellers that I buy online, say like Amazon for them, well, they don't fit. So what I've gone and I've bought this little item, and this is a prop reamer. And what this will do is this will expand the inner diameter of your propeller shaft so that you can fit it over that propeller shaft. And this was a really cool item that I picked up, again, very inexpensive, from flighttest.com. I'll put the link in the description below. So if you want to get one for yourself, you can put that into your bag. Moving onwards, zip ties. Zip ties are really cool. Zip ties serve a lot of functions. They can be used to hold your parts together when you're transporting. They can be used to tie loose items down or strap them down like batteries when you're flying. There is just a number of uses for zip ties, especially when you're on the field and you need something that's stronger than tape. There you go, zip ties. So this one is, I think, from Lowe's. It was an 100 count. These are 4-inch or 10/16 centimeters. And again, there's no metal. It's really, really simple to have. Throw it in your bag. Pliers, needle nose, small, and with clips on them so that you can cut things like the zip ties. Another great item to have, great for picking up small things, great for getting into small places that your fingers can't get into. Awesome item. And then last but not least, I have an adjustable automatic wrench. Now, I picked this one up at Lowe's. This is a Cobalt. This is a fairly new item. It came as a 2-pack. And the brother to this is a much larger one. And the reason why I have this is because some planes, especially the larger ones, like the Pits that I have a giant size nut that locks in the propeller before you put on the spinner. And to get that off or on tightly, you need one of these. And the old school ones are really big and clunky, but now they're getting better with it. And this is adjustable, so it makes getting in there really quick, grabbing hold of it and locking in and then locking it down. So go ahead, get yourself a automatic adjustable wrench and throw it in your bag. And that is it. That is what I take to the field every single time I go out there with my planes. Now, in addition to housing all of my parts, my spare parts, my tools, I'll also use this as a garbage bag. Believe it or not, there is a fair amount of trash that you will bring out to the field with you, whether it's food, if it's tape, rubber bands, broken parts, and I'll just go ahead and chuck it in the bag because this is a safe place for me to bring it back home when I empty my bag, I can throw out all of my things. So it's also a good receptacle for all of your junk because you want to keep the space that you fly in clean. Always, always, always. All right, that's it, guys. Well, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. And if I missed anything at all, or you have any questions or suggestions, please leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit that like button if you like this video. Don't forget to subscribe and join the community of awesome, awesome planes. And again, I'm Pilot Manny. See you next time.